For 12 years, control of the new government remains firmly in the hands of the Federalists. But gaining strength in the decade of the 90s is a group that envisions a far more modest approach to government. Both sides are represented in Washington's cabinet.
On the one hand, he had Hamilton with a very elaborate economic plan to build up the material resources of the nation, to make it a successful nation economically, which was significantly opposed by Jefferson, who saw in Hamilton's economic program the possibilities of a political problem that he wanted to avoid.
Jefferson was suspicious of a strong central government and was one of the first proponents of the idea that the Constitution should be read literally and narrowly. Hamilton had a more expansive view. The initial and most famous conflicts was over the creation of a national bank. Hamilton thought this was absolutely essential to have a national bank which would lend greater fiscal stability and authority to the new national government. Jefferson disagreed.
And so Washington had a cabinet in which one person was developing these sophisticated, quasi-modern ideas about a national economy, while on the other hand he had someone who was reverting to an earlier year where just that kind of development created political threats. And it was Washington's capacity to keep these people together and to move forward in the national sphere that is one of the great moments, crucial moments in the beginning of the nation.
The two factions also divide over the question of the national debt. Jefferson opts for paying it off, while Hamilton wants to hold on to it.
And not only that, he didn't want the states to have their own debts. He wanted to assume them, to have one consolidated national debt that the national government would service. This would make the Treasury Department the center of the new national government. This is something that, both on an ideological and a personal level, infuriated Jefferson, who saw the State Department, which should have been the most important department, overwhelmed by the Treasury Department.
Even the location of the national capital becomes part of the ongoing debate between these two men.
The United States Capitol has been in a lot of places. Washington was inaugurated in New York, of course. It was in Philadelphia. But the establishment of a permanent capital was an issue in the 1790s. It should be in a central location, which now seems kind of funny to us because we don't really think of Washington as central to the country, but it was central to North and South. And the establishment of it there was described as being part of a dinner party bargain.
Of course, in looking back on it, Jefferson wants to explain it away. It's a political embarrassment. But at the time, the location of the capital did seem profoundly important. And so, from Jefferson's perspective, if you could move the national capital away from Philadelphia or New York, existing cities that already had tremendous power over their hinterlands, then it would be possible to neutralize the pernicious effects of central authority. In effect, a kind of limitation on national power that would make the national government safe for the American people. So in exchange for the grant of power, that is in the assumption of state debts, that was crucial to Hamilton's financial program, Jefferson thought he was getting a guarantee or a limitation on national power that was equally important.